Hi, this is Harmony Quaker, and I got a question recently asking me to address this experience when intrusive thoughts that are really dark in nature just pop into your mind. And I was really happy to receive this specific question because it's something I see a lot in my clients, and it's something that I've experienced a lot. When I first had my daughter, my first child, I was so surprised at the dark thoughts that would come into my mind. Images of her dying. I would hover over her and make sure she was breathing because I couldn't quite tell if the thoughts that I were having were real or not because they were so persistent and so invasive. And it was really scary. It was really scary for me. I didn't know it at the time, but what my mind was doing was trying to protect me from great loss. So when we have unhealed wounds that we're really unaware of, like we're unaware of how an experience really impacted and shaped us. Like maybe we know the experience happened, but we actually don't know the deep impact that it had on us in shaping who we think we are in the world and if the world is safe or not. When we have that experience and then we're presented with this other heart-opening experience. Like for me, I loved my daughter so much. My mind came in to protect me. And the piece that I wasn't quite clear on, that I know for certain now, is that I had an experience as an infant where I fell off the top bunk of a bed, and you can see my scar right here. I fell on my head, and I hit my head on a dresser on the way down, and I fell on my shoulder on the floor. And I knew this experience had happened to me. I had actually been working on it for many years before I had my daughter, both physically, energetically, psychologically. And that moment, the world wasn't safe. At 5 months old, the world wasn't safe, not even to sleep, because I had been sleeping in a bed. And so my deep unconscious came online to try and protect my daughter. And the thing that I think is so beautiful about this is that, let me take a deep breath. The thing that I think is so beautiful about this is that this fear was coming up not only to protect me, but so that I can go deeper into my own healing. So that the trigger in and of itself was there for me to look at it and get clear on it and purify myself from it. Because that historical event actually wasn't happening in that moment. In that moment, we were safe, we were cared for, we were loved and protected. And this is the beauty of consciousness. When we're aware of our trigger, the thing that's causing us to be vigilant or go in collapse or be agitated in any way, when we're aware and we have our witnessing mind and we see that this thing is happening and that maybe there's no real logical reason for it in the present moment, we get to use that information to go deeper into our healing. So although the intrusive thoughts could feel really disempowering, it's really our relationship to them that is disempowering or empowering. So if we see these intrusive thoughts and we feel like totally powerless to them and we don't know why, and they just sort of like cause us to be afraid or even just are disturbing. I have some clients who just share with me that like they'll get these intrusive, disturbing thoughts and it actually isn't a fear, but it's very morbid. And and they have no idea why. Why would this morbid thought just pop into my head? Those instances too are wonderful opportunities to get really curious about what is driving the deep unconscious motives, urges, and impulses that we have. So the thing that I want to say here is that it's often challenging to see the older wound that's being triggered. And this is where therapy can be very useful, working with a skilled therapist. So that's important here. But the other thing is that even if we do know the event, like let's say I was very aware that like my head trauma when I was 5 months old was making me be vigilantly afraid of my daughter dying as an infant. Let's say I knew that, I didn't know what to do. Like, what do I do with that? And even as a trained therapist, in my own navigation of my inner world, I was confused, like totally afraid and not knowing how to get space from it and how to use it for my deeper healing. So if you have intrusive thoughts, you can see my dog there. The thing that I hope that you take away from this short video blog on intrusive thoughts is that they're useful information to your healing. And when you look at them in this light, they can become very empowering. And I also really see them as this way of when our heart begins to open, but we don't fully feel safe, the mind comes online trying to protect us. And that's important to recognize too. Like, why don't I feel safe opening my heart? I was loving my daughter so much, but I didn't feel safe because I might lose her. So my mind came in to protect me. The last thing that I want to say is this piece about resilience. Sometimes when we're in chronic stress, under chronic stress, and we can no longer meet that stress in an appropriate way that feels good to us, the mind comes online with these morbid thoughts too, because we've lost our resilience. And the way I see it is the mind is just like contracting in fear. And even though the fear might not seem logical, that is still what's driving in that moment. So on my website right now, there is a meditation for anxiety that's really good for letting your mind relax in knowing that your basic safety needs are currently being met. So I just want to invite you to check that out. And from my heart to yours, I wish for you that you feel empowered in life to cultivate the sense of safety and resilience and open-heartedness that serves the greater good. So much love.